a judge blasts the Los Angeles Homeless Authority spending as a train wreck. This is what a judge said, and threatens to seize control. We're going to take over if you guys can't show me some receipts for the billions and billions of dollars you've spent with zero accountability. Let's get into it. Here we go.
Growing frustration in Los Angeles County tonight over the homeless crisis and the agency that has spent billions to address it. And there are even calls to break up the Los Angeles Homeless Services Agency, with critics calling it a failure. KCAL News political reporter Tom
Failure
in Woodland Hills at a temporary homeless shelter to explain it all. Tom, good evening.
And good evening to you, Pat. Well, this is all as a result of a damning audit that was released saying that the Homeless Authority for LA County essentially can't track tens of millions of dollars in funding for homeless services. As you said, just behind me, this is a converted motel. It's temporary housing right now. It's run by a nonprofit that receives a lot of that money. And again, the question is, where is all of that money going? Complex of nonprofits that works with the Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority, or LAHSA. It's the county agency administering hundreds of millions of dollars in taxpayer money for homeless services. LAHSA's future is now in question after a recent audit ordered by county supervisors. The results of the audit were damning. The LA County Controller says in part that LAHSA failed to fully track payments from a $50 million grant in 2017 to 2018, failed to track $8 million in cash advances dating back to 2016, and did not develop an adequate contract monitoring plan. After the
Shocker.
LA County Supervisor
Shocker.
Horvath posted on X, I'm bringing a motion to create a new county department to create more transparency and accountability on public dollars and expedite real results on homelessness. LAHSA CEO Valisha Adams-Kellum, who was appointed last year, many years after many of the issues cited in the audit, said in a statement, LAHSA has needed reform for some time. The audit confirms that. I came to LAHSA to lead change and fix the problems. Many of the issues outlined in the audit have been addressed under our new leadership team, or changes are underway. Supervisor Horvath is not calling for the total dismantlement of the Homeless Authority for the county. What she's saying is she wants it to be broken up so that LAHSA can still handle things like the homeless count, but then another county agency would handle the budget, where there would be more scrutiny on where the money is going. We'll see what the county supervisors do with her plan. Reporting from Woodland Hills, I'm Tom Waite, KCAL News.
Oh, thanks for that, Tom.
Thanks, Tom. I'm beginning to think that, a lot of these politicians create these issues just so I can have podcasts. I mean, does that seem unreasonable? Because they just get spoon-fed to me, right? Just, what are you guys doing? We're doing our normal thing. I mean, a homeless authority not having accountability in California, where homelessness has just been continually going up, up, up and away. I mean, is that a shocker? The homeless industrial complex continuing to grow, because if they actually did something about homelessness, they're cutting their own throat. There's no more homeless people. What are you guys doing with your budget? I got a lot of salaries, $300,000 salaries between all of us presidents and vice presidents. We got to eat too. Like, they're literally dealing with people with no money that are on the streets. Frustrated federal judge on Thursday lambasted LA city officials for failing to properly track billions in spending on homelessness and called for a forensic audit to look into potential fraud and waste. Oof, that's not good. A forensic audit, meaning you just go over every penny and dime, get a handful of CPAs in there, and they just obsess about where all the money goes. He also threatened to appoint a court-ordered receiver to take over control of the spending. This is nothing new. These are not new situations. Massive amounts of money being spent on just nonsense. We don't even know if it's nonsense. We just don't know. There's no accountability. At a hearing in downtown LA, U.S. District Court Judge David O'Carter convened a who's who of top officials, including Mayor Karen Bass, City Council President Marquise Harris Dawson, LA County Board Supervisors Catherine Barger, and City Controller Kenneth Mejia. Am I pronouncing that last name right? Probably. maybe not. Who knows? The judges focused heavily on recent audit he oversaw, which found major failures in tracking more than $2 billion of city homelessness spending and holding contractors accountable. It comes after multiple audits over many years with similar findings, according to records Carter showed in court. You know what's great about all these stories? They don't ever change. What happens is, somebody's shocked and, they can't believe the financial outrage that is happening. And we all go, oh, God, that's terrible. And we read it because, it's a judge. Same damn storyline's going to come up a year from now. Hey, where'd all that money go? Don't really know. I mean, we just got through with the state of California not really knowing where, 33 billion, 37 billion? Some crazy number like that they can't really account for where it went because homelessness is such a big, big business in the state of California that, hey, let's keep this bus a-rolling. Let's keep the train going. Because if we actually do something about homelessness, then we won't have the funding. Yeah. Doesn't that seem odd? I mean, all right, it's based on the number of homeless people we got. How many got out there? A lot. We need a lot of funding. It's a slow train wreck, Carter told top city and county elected officials. City of Los Angeles Homeless Services Agency was at the top of Carter's list of concerns. I have great concerns. You guys are spending a lot of money. Homelessness keeps going to the moon. I mean, California has half of the homelessness in all of the United States? Half? It's insane. He pointed to years of audits going back to 07, 19, 21, and this year. Those reviews all found the agency failed to properly keep track of the money and ensure that it was being properly spent, he said. We had King County Regional Homeless Authority run by a they-them that was they-them fired, a year or two ago? Because he came up with a plan they were getting like $250 million, and he came up with a plan on the back of a napkin. I'm sorry, them came up with a plan for like $11 billion towards homelessness in King County, and we're spending $250 million now. It was like, what is wrong with you? Well, what's wrong with him is he's, basically confused about who he is as a person, and then he comes up with these ideas of how to fix things based on this whole idea that everybody's just going to believe him because he's a $300,000 CEO of this big King County Regional Housing Authority. And when it all just falls flat and people go, man, you're full of nonsense. From $250 million to $11 billion? No, nobody's going to buy that. And he really had no plan at all. But that's homelessness in a nutshell. Get a DEI hire up there and we're all golden. It's great. It's going to be great. Money just out the door. Don't worry about budgeting. Don't worry about accountability. It's all DEI money, right? Nobody is asking our providers what they did or what services they performed, the judge said, pointing to findings of the audit report released this month. So we've always got all these audits going, right? You've always got these audits and then, one pops up and people are like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that's the situation. I can. It's the same deal. It's the same deal. They don't really want to fix homelessness because then the gravy train ends. And then what are they going to do? Sit around or, I remember the good old days when homelessness was just exploding in its growth period. That audit looked at about $2.4 billion spent by the city over a 4-year period ending last summer, which includes the first year and a half of Bass administration. Criticism of Bass. Oh, here we go. Was she in Ghana again? Oh, no, it's better. Bass was also criticized over her refusal to allow the city controller to audit the mayor's Inside Safe initiative. Oh, no, we can't have you looking at that. No real reason. I mean, no, you can't do an audit on that because it's going to make my people look bad. City attorney's position is that the city charter prohibits the controller from auditing Inside Safe without the mayor's consent. Why wouldn't the mayor give consent? Well, because she appointed the CEO and she's in on it, right? I mean, come on, all these officials are. They talk about, we're really concerned about every single one of our homeless folks that are living on the street. No, you're not. Otherwise, you do something. because it doesn't just impact those folks. It impacts everybody else who has to walk around them, step in human poop, deal with the drugs, deal with the theft, deal with all of that stuff, because that's the entire ecosystem. If these people were just homeless and they slept on the streets and got up and moved their stuff every single day, different story. If they just kind of disappeared, but they can't. They're human beings, right? That position has been disputed by the controller and the chair of the committee that wrote the charter language. So language in the city charter is that the controller's power include conducting performance audits of all departments and performance audits of city programs. We've already had a couple of audits, and the audits came up unflinchingly critical of the homeless industrial complex in Los Angeles. And it doesn't take a genius to see all the money being spent and that homelessness continues to increase. So tell me where this is working. It's not. Because you said, we will build it and they will come. And that is what California did. That's what Seattle did. That's what Portland did. That's what Vancouver, BC did. That's what San Francisco did. And they have come and they are there. And now you got major problems because they're people and you can't get rid of them. Bass added that there's much more for the city to do on homelessness. Yeah. You mean like address it? Yeah. Maybe force some people into treatment, force some people into psychiatric wards, arrest some people. But we're not doing that. We're not doing any of that. We're just spending a whole bunch of money. We're lining pockets. But it needs to be focused on the people and what their needs are and not on the administration. Carter wasn't satisfied. We pay your bills. Figure this out. You know, you can say we pay your bills and figure it out all day long, but it's not going to do anything because the status quo is what literally funds all of these programs. Got to have a lot of homeless people. Oh my word, it's terrible out there. I know. Can we have some more money? It's more money up here in this biatch. The mayor doesn't come to a voluntary agreement allowing auditing of the programs under her control, including Inside Safe. Carter said he would consider a request for him to appoint a receiver to commandeer control of city homeless spending. I'm all for it. Let's do it. Let's just do it as an experiment. Let's see what, let's get a receiver in there. It's like when you've got a property that's going sideways and got a dispute between the lender and the owner, defaulted payments. There's no money to go around for any maintenance or anything. And the court system puts the property into receivership, puts it into a third party whose their task is to take care of the property. I'd love to see a receivership to take commandeer control of city homeless spending. It'll never happen. It'll never happen because these people are too protective of their position, which is you can't reduce the homelessness. That's un-American right there. We can't do that. Carter is giving officials until May to make a series of decisions, including whether Bass will allow outside audits of insights. She's going to have some real political issues if she doesn't allow some outside audits before he decides whether to appoint a receiver to take control of city spending on homelessness. Wouldn't that be a hoot? Just, hey, yeah. Jimmy, I'm going to sub you in here, son. You got to go take control of the homelessness in LA. Good luck out there. All right. We believe in you. All right. Hope you ate your Wheaties. Yeah. Those are all, antiquated. Attaboy sports analogies, whatever. The judge goes on to say, I am your worst nightmare, the judge told officials. I can make your lives miserable. I say, let's roll the dice and see what happens. Come on, judge. You can do it. Throw a receiver in there. Get some deep dive forensic audit. I want to see just a mad forensic audit on this entity. I mean, I want to see it on all these entities because billions and billions and billions of dollars is just frittering away. The explosive hearing comes as the city and county officials consider whether to end their funding of the Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority. Here's one of the other stories that I think I've already covered. LAHSA has also reported on an ethics breach at the agency involving Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority top executive Valicia Adams Kellum signing a $2.1 million contract with her husband's employer. Yeah, honey, I set that up. Yeah, you're golden. Yeah, your company. Your company's getting that contract. Let's see, I'm banging you and your company get the contract. This is great. God bless America. I mean, that's how business should go, right? Whomever you're sleeping with, their employer. That's who you should give the contract to. I mean, let's just cut it down to that, right? Basic human needs. Well, despite previously saying she had followed conflict of interest rules banning her from such involvement. You can't give your husband's company a big contract. You can't do that. Oh, whew, hey now. This is homelessness, though. This is the absolute core of the whole homeless deal. Is that there's no accountability for anything because you don't have to. You just don't have to. It's like, here you go. Here's some money. Her husband is a director of compliance at the vendor. Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority ultimately paid about $1.7 million under that one-year contract without any reports on the vendor's performance or contract compliance. It's just beautiful. It's beautiful. I mean, can you imagine the conversations she had with her husband? We did it. This is great. We scammed him again. Oh, this is great. Again, God bless America, right? Isn't it great? Isn't homelessness great? Just jobs and contracts and nonsense for everyone. You know, if you're new to this podcast, I make a lot of fun of this stuff because that's all you can really do. Yeah, I mean, the billions of dollars being spent. Just an incredible, I mean, there is some money there that is, goes to basic services, but the vast majority of it goes to incredible bloat, meaning salaries for all these DEI hires who were essentially knuckleheads who, if they had to run a legit business, they would be fired after 1 quarter of performance review. All right, how much money did you make us? What? I got hired from the nonprofit background. I got to make money for the company? Yeah, you're the CEO. That's your job. And if you don't, we'll fire your ass. But I had a really good resume. I had a really good, look at all the schools I went to. No, you got to make money. This is based on performance, and our investors, our shareholders, they require you to get your ass in gear and run the company in a profitable manner. You know what I mean? It's like the huge difference between nonprofit and profit. One has a measure of how things go, and if it doesn't, they go bankrupt. Los Angeles Housing Authority, Homelessness Authority, there's no accountability. And so as a result, you end up with stuff like this, with judges getting pissed off. Where's this going to go? I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm a 50-50. Throw the odds out there. I'm a 50-50 that this judge actually does something. I think he's, probably just more squawk, and there's going to be no real accountability. The mayor will step in and say, all right, we're going to provide another committee, and here's what we're going to do. We're going to study the problem, and we're really going to wrangle down on how to get control of this. No, you're not. You're not going to do any of that stuff. You're just going to do a bunch of talking and a bunch of nonsense. And in the meantime, everybody gets paid. Yeah. All right. That's it for me on this one. Thanks so much for being here. Catch up with you in the next one. Bye for now.